What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news for you, and an update actually concerning the ongoing saga. Mr. AJ, Mr. DW, Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder. Eddie Hearn has made a statement that he is willing to wait until the outcome of the Wilder Fury fight, which is on December 1st, and so they can perhaps make a deal to see if we can make a deal. They would like to at least start talks of how we can make this fight work or planned before that date, because they already want someone in place, and then that's why they're setting aside that person in place for Dillian White in case that fight goes belly up. Now, I could understand him waiting until then. In fact, that was my only concern with Eddie Hearn, is why would you not wait until the fight? Because he did say, hey, if it's 50-50, if he does over 1 million pay-per-view buys, that's 50-50. He are considering close to 50-50 for that fight, because he's earned his self-credibility, yada, yada, yada. He could sell tickets, so that would be reasonable. But, you'd have to know how it goes before you can make that determination, right? So, that makes a lot of sense now. So now it's making more sense to me, because, Eddie Hearn, he said, well, we won't wait till the first. You got to give us an answer, but that fight hasn't been made. I know these are different time frames, because, this is right after the Povetkin fight. He said he won't wait till the first. Now he's willing to wait till the first. So the negotiations are still happening slow. I do understand a promoter wanting a fight made ahead of time, like a pre-made fight. You know what I mean? Because they're considering the outcome positive, that particular fighter will win that they're anticipating on fighting, which is Deontay Wilder. Eddie Hearn said that, he would beat Wilder. Wilder would beat Fury. So that's what they're banking on, because a lot of channels out there was like, well, why don't you just find the winner or negotiate with the winner, of that? Because for one, we don't know what Tyson Fury is going to do when he wins. He doesn't have to necessarily fight anyone when he wins. Klitschko was the A side when he beat him. He didn't fight him. You know what I mean? So he didn't have, a guy doesn't have to fight anyone. Floyd Mayweather Jr. had a rematch clause with Oscar De La Hoya, which Oscar De La Hoya was the A side. He did not have to fight that person. You know what I mean? And on top of that, that's the fight. That is a good fight, Fury and Joshua. But, everyone really wants to see Wilder. And Wilder's the younger, fresher, well, not even the younger, fresher guy. He's just a fresher guy that's been in shape, that he's the most dangerous, and he has the WBC strap. That's why I think he done that. But, if you want to look at fights that were already made before time, look at Canelo and Triple G, the first fight. That fight was already done. The contract was already signed. Golovkin had already signed his part of the contract, before he stepped in that arena to see Canelo Alvarez use Chavez Jr. as a punching bag. You know what I mean? So because he came out right after that. Golovkin, where are you? You're next, my friend. And then he comes into his own music and stuff. It looked like something from the WWF, right? So, though that's an example of how fights get made beforehand. So, in this case, if everything is about money, and we know damn sure it is, it's all about money. So, yeah, Eddie Hearn is willing to wait. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that he's willing to wait. And then, of course, again, that was my only question. Like, well, why aren't you waiting until the outcome? You know what I mean? Just throwing that fight together. But Eddie is crossing his T's and dotting his I's, because that Deontay Wilder fight is not promised, because the way Deontay Wilder is talking, of course, gets outlandish, 60-40. You know what I mean? Especially if he goes in there and knocks out Fury, which he's going to have to do if he's going to beat Fury, honestly. Because Fury is just going to outpoint him, frustrate him, box him, give him combinations, tie him up. He's going to make it that type of fight. And that's okay because that's his game plan. You know what I mean? Frustrate Deontay Wilder, take the right hand away from him, things of that nature. So that's if he wins. But if Deontay Wilder knocks him out, Deontay Wilder, if his head is already big, because his managers, they pumped his head up. He's got his pay-per-view for the first time ever in his life. His head is pumped up for that too. It's even bigger. You know what I mean? And then he knocks out Tyson Fury, the lineal champ, the highest name on his resume. Yeah. So there might be a problem that, we might have to deal with because someone's head is about to explode. And that's what happens when someone gets to a point that they've never been in their career. Okay. So there's a good chance that Deontay Wilder's camp and Deontay himself might say, hell no, give me 60-40. I would give me 60-40. Really? Shit. And that's what he would do. So if it comes down to that, that's why they have Dillian White in place, which, it's easier to make a Dillian White fight. I can understand on the business side of it, but, for legacy, I would rather see someone else fight Joshua on the 13th, not Dillian White. No disrespect to Dillian White, but dude, bring Ortiz on. And I don't even think Dillian White was willing to fight Ortiz, honestly. And if he wasn't, I know Eddie Hearn wasn't. So, but anyway, we've went through that, but on this end of negotiations, on this side, it looks promising. It looks like, okay, Eddie Hearn's willing to open up to be more negotiable, and more lenient on what, to get this fight happening. And a lot of people think, oh, well, that means Wilder is gaining more power. Well, it means one side sees the seriousness of that belt too. So to get him in the ring, let's get him in the ring any means necessary if he would get in the ring. But he has to sign that contract first. You know what I'm saying? So they're opening up and being more lenient on their side. So to soften up the other side. So if they hear 50-50, and it's basically on the management end, to Deontay, because they're the mouth for Deontay. Deontay could say what he wants, but if he offers Shelly Finkel 50-50 and it looks good, Shelly Finkel's going to take it and he's going to make Deontay Wilder fight for it, because it's not just Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, as you guys know, he has a lot of people in his pocket. So when they see that number or that dollar figure or whatever, they're going to go for it. Deontay will want his own personal thing, and then I just did a video about, him wanting around what AJ's salary would be. You know what I mean? That's what he wants. He wants that, he's seen that person to mirror, and if he doesn't get that number, he's going to be upset. He's going to feel like he deserves more. So, but it looks good on one side. So we just got to see what the other side says. You know what I mean? So we have Hearn and Joshua on this side, and they're telling them what they can do and what they're going to do and what you should do. Right? Now we got to hear what, Wilder and Finkel says at this point right now. So that's where we're at. So you guys tell me what you think about Eddie Hearn's statement. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. If you guys want a shirt, hey man, donate 10 or more and I'll mail it to you. But anyway, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.